Agenda 21. Agenda 21, the non-binding action plan of the United Nations for Sustainable Development, may seem like a mundane document with noble goals at first glance. But delve deeper, and you'll uncover a strange and perplexing world of conspiracies, hidden agendas, and bizarre implications. At its core, Agenda 21 aims to promote sustainable development across the world. However, some conspiracy theorists view it as a plot to establish a one-world government that will undermine individual freedom and sovereignty. They claim that Agenda 21 is the linchpin of a globalist agenda that seeks to subjugate humanity under an eco-totalitarian regime. These conspiracy theories have taken root among certain right-wing groups in the US and have gained momentum over the years. They assert that Agenda 21 is a threat to private property rights, and that its goal is to force citizens to move to cities, where they can be more easily controlled. Some even believe that Agenda 21 is a seditious conspiracy aimed at reducing the world's population by 85%. While these theories may seem far-fetched, they reflect a deeper anxiety about the role of international organizations like the United Nations in shaping the future of the world. Critics of Agenda 21 argue that it represents an overreach of global governance, and that it is a threat to national sovereignty and individual freedoms. But even beyond the realm of conspiracy theories, there are strange and unsettling aspects to Agenda 21. For one thing, its language can be vague and esoteric, leaving room for interpretation and confusion. Some of its objectives, such as achieving a sustainable population, may seem harmless on the surface, but could have far-reaching implications if taken to their logical conclusion. Moreover, Agenda 21's focus on major groups, youth, women, and indigenous peoples, raises questions about who exactly is being targeted and why. And its emphasis on science, technology transfer, and financial mechanisms suggests a top-down, technocratic approach to sustainability that some find unsettling. Archimedes Plutonium. Archimedes Plutonium, self-proclaimed king of science, is a unique and eccentric figure in the world of science and the internet. He was born in Germany as Ludwig Pohlmann and later adopted by a local real estate investor in Ohio, where he changed his name to Ludwig Hansen. After some time as a mathematics tutor in Australia, he returned to the United States, where he inherited his adoptive father's real estate holdings and claimed to have amassed a fortune through stock market investments in the 1980s. Plutonium first gained notoriety in the early 1990s when he began posting on Usenet, particularly in the CI$ science hierarchy. He quickly became known for his outlandish claims, including his plutonium atom totality theory, which posits that the universe is a giant plutonium atom, with Earth and other celestial bodies located in its outer electron shells. Plutonium claimed to have a single plutonium atom at the center of his brain, which he believed made him a super genius. The Boötes Void. This is also known as the Great Nothing. It is a mysterious region in space located near the constellation Boötes. This supervoid has a diameter of approximately 330 million light-years, making it one of the largest known voids in the universe. Its name is derived from the fact that it contains very few galaxies and is almost entirely empty. In fact, if the Milky Way had been at the center of the void, it is possible that we would not have known about the existence of other galaxies until the 1960s. Some scientists speculate that the void was formed from the merging of smaller voids, much like soap bubbles coalesce to form larger bubbles. This theory might explain why there are a few galaxies in the void. Although it is called the Great Nothing, the Boötes Void is not entirely empty. Over time, astronomers have discovered a few galaxies in the void. Nevertheless, compared to the usual number of galaxies one would expect to find in a space of its size, the void remains an intriguing mystery. Its origins are still largely unknown, but scientists continue to study the void and its peculiar characteristics. Booya Stones. The Booya Stones were sacred stones that were kept by the priests in Murray Islands, located in the Torres Straits. These stones emitted an intense blue light and were believed to possess powerful magical properties, including the ability to heal and ward off evil spirits. When Europeans reached the islands, the priests of the Murray Islands hid the Booya Stones to protect them from being stolen or destroyed. Today, the true nature and origin of the Booya Stones remain a mystery, with some scientists speculating that they may have contained lumps of pure radium. Braneworld. The Braneworld theory suggests that our universe is on a flat surface called a brane that is inside a larger space with more dimensions than we can see. This theory allows for the existence of other universes very close to ours but in different dimensions. The holographic origin theory suggests that our universe was formed from the collapse of a black hole in a higher dimensional universe, and that the Big Bang may not be the starting point of our universe. Finally, physicist Nikodem Poplawski proposed that when a star dies and collapses into a black hole, a new universe could be created on the other side of a wormhole. Capgras Delusion. Capgras Delusion, also known as Capgras Syndrome, is a psychiatric disorder in which a person holds a delusional belief that a friend, spouse, parent, another close family member, or even a pet has been replaced by an identical imposter. It is named after Joseph Capgras, the French psychiatrist who first described the disorder. The delusion most commonly occurs in individuals diagnosed with schizophrenia, but has also been seen in brain injury, dementia with Lewy bodies, and other forms of dementia, particularly at an older age. It has also been reported as occurring in association with diabetes, hypothyroidism, and migraine attacks. The exact cause of Capgras delusion is unknown, but is believed to be related to structural damage to organs, specifically damage to the brain's frontal lobe and right hemisphere, leading to problems with familiarity and visual recognition. CCA-XX1. Despite numerous conspiracy theories surrounding CCA-XX1, the reality appears to be much simpler yet equally concerning. CCA-XX1 is a highly customizable and mobile military unit, designed to be deployed rapidly into an area with all the necessary equipment and personnel needed for a battle. This makes it less surgical than a special forces team, but more mobile than a battalion, and it could potentially be used for a variety of military purposes. Furthermore, there are suggestions that CCA-XX1 could be part of a nuclear operation involving the banking system and central banks operating independently in every country. This would allow nuclear weapons to be used without specifically being responsible, potentially leading to catastrophic consequences. While these claims may seem bizarre, they cannot be dismissed outright given the history of covert military operations. Center of the Universe. The center of the universe, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, is a strange acoustic anomaly that defies explanation. Unlike optical illusions that distort our visual perception of reality, this sound anomaly is marked by a concrete circle on a pedestrianized bridge, surrounded by planters and benches that create a wider circle around it. When one stands in the center of the circle and speaks, their voice is echoed back at them, but louder, and outside noises become distorted. Despite its bizarre properties, there is no official explanation for how the anomaly formed. Some speculate that it may be the result of sound waves being reflected by the planters around the circle, creating the peculiar effect. However, similar acoustic anomalies have been found in circular buildings around the world, from the Whispering Gallery of St. Paul Cathedral in London to the Mayan city of Chichen Itza in Mexico. While optical illusions tend to receive more attention, acoustic anomalies can be just as trippy and mysterious. Coronal heating. The Sun's upper atmosphere, or corona, is much hotter than its visible surface, which has puzzled astronomers for over half a century. NASA's IRIS observatory was launched in 2013 to study this mystery and found that the corona may be heated in explosive events, similar to miniature solar flares. However, there are still many unknowns about this complex puzzle. The idea that the sun's outer layer is hotter than its surface defies what we understand about heat and energy. Scientists have been trying to figure out how this can be for decades. The launch of IRIS has allowed them to study the sun's corona in more detail, revealing new information about how it is heated. It's still a strange and bizarre phenomenon, but we are slowly uncovering more about it through scientific exploration. Dark matter and dark energy. Dark matter and dark energy are two mysterious components that make up the majority of the mass energy content of the universe. Dark energy is an unknown form of energy that causes the expansion of the universe to accelerate, while dark matter is a hypothetical form of matter that does not interact with electromagnetic radiation and is thought to have a significant impact on the structure and evolution of the universe. Despite extensive research, neither dark matter nor dark energy has been directly observed, and their true nature and properties remain largely unknown. Some scientists suggest that alternative theories of gravity may account for the observed effects without the need for dark matter, while others propose the existence of new particles, such as weakly interacting massive particles, WIMPs, to explain dark matter. Death Valley Underground City. Death Valley, known for its extreme climate and harsh terrain, has been the center of many bizarre and unsolved tales. In 1947, Dr. F. Bruce Russell claimed to have discovered complex tunnels deep below Death Valley that contained the mummified remains of giants and artifacts resembling Egyptian and American Indian designs. However, professional archaeologists were skeptical, and the site was never located again. Legends of an underground city and an ancient race have been passed down by the Paiute people, while stories of underground rooms filled with treasures and perfectly preserved human mummies have been told by desert prospectors. Despite numerous attempts to locate these sites, they remain unsolved mysteries. Despair Code. The Despair Code is a mysterious phenomenon that has been circulating on the internet for years, often associated with conspiracy theories and the supernatural. It is said to be a code or equation that, when unlocked or triggered, can cause intense feelings of despair, anxiety, and even suicidal thoughts. Some claim that the code was founded by 4chan/x/board, a notorious breeding ground for conspiracy theories and paranormal activity. The equation itself is said to be a combination of factors that, when multiplied together, create a sense of hopelessness and despair in those who believe in it. But the origins of the Despair Code go deeper than just a few internet forums. Some speculate that it has ties to MKUltra, a government program that involved experiments on human subjects in the 1950s and 60s. The code is said to be a tool used by the Illuminati, a secret organization that allegedly controls the world, to trigger depression in their slaves. Others believe that the code has ties to H.P. Lovecraft, the horror writer famous for his Cthulhu mythos. In Lovecraft's stories, characters are exposed to unimaginable cosmic horrors that break their minds and drive them to madness. The Despair Code is said to be a tool used by the Old Ones, Lovecraft's cosmic gods with evil intentions, to break the minds of those who dare to unlock its secrets. Despite its origins and alleged ties to the supernatural, some still believe that the Despair Code is just a meme, a collection of nonsense phrases that have been strung together to create a creepy-sounding equation. But others believe that there is something more to it, that the code holds a dark and powerful truth that is too terrifying for most to comprehend. Dropa Tribe. The Dropa Tribe, also known as the Dzopa, is a group of people who have lived in the remote Baikal Ula Mountains on the border of China and Tibet for centuries. According to legend, they are the descendants of an ancient alien race that crash-landed on Earth thousands of years ago. The story of the Dropa Tribe begins with the discovery of a series of caves in the Baikal Ula Mountains in 1938. Archaeologists exploring the caves found a collection of unusual skeletons with spindly limbs and oversized heads. Alongside the skeletons, they discovered hundreds of stone discs covered in engravings that no one could decipher. It wasn't until 20 years later that a Chinese scientist, Dr. Tsum Nui, managed to translate the writing on the discs. What he found was a story of an advanced alien civilization that crash-landed on Earth and tried to live peacefully with the local inhabitants. However, they were eventually hunted and killed by the natives because of their perceived ugliness and strangeness. According to legend, the Dropa tribe is descended from the survivors of this alien race. While the Dropa people themselves do not identify as such, their unique physical features and the legends passed down through generations suggest a connection to this ancient story. Electromagnetic field consciousness. According to electromagnetic field theories of consciousness, when the brain produces an electromagnetic field with specific characteristics, it leads to the emergence of consciousness. While some scientists like Susan Pocket and John Joe McFadden have proposed electromagnetic field theories, others have criticized them. McFadden's theory is based on the idea that every time a neuron fires, it generates a disturbance in the surrounding electromagnetic field. McFadden argues that the synchronous firing of neurons amplifies the influence of the brain's electromagnetic field fluctuations to a much greater extent than unsynchronized firing. The brain's electromagnetic field is thought to influence brain function by redistributing ions and modulating neuronal activity. McFadden views consciousness as a conscious electromagnetic information field that arises from the integration of digital information from neurons. Pocket's theory has a similar physical basis to McFadden's, but she argues that the electromagnetic field comprises a universal consciousness that experiences the sensations, perceptions, thoughts, and emotions of every conscious being in the universe. However, while McFadden thinks that the field is causal for actions, albeit deterministically, Pocket does not see the field as causal for our actions. While electromagnetic theories of consciousness are not widely accepted by cognitive scientists, they do account for the binding problem, which is how information located in millions of neurons scattered through the brain can be unified into a single conscious experience. They also have implications for artificial intelligence, suggesting that current microprocessor technology may not be suitable for creating an artificially conscious computer. Hook operators. Operators, also known as hook operators, are a mysterious humanoid species with psychic capabilities that are said to control the majority of non-psychic humans. While they appear physically human, their psychic abilities allow them to manipulate and direct the events of human lives towards pain and suffering, which they refer to as things. Barbara O'Brien's 1957 book, Operators and Things, describes her biographical experience of a schizophrenic breakdown, during which she encountered these entities. While some believe the operators are simply a symbolic manifestation of O'Brien's mental state, others believe they could be a real species living alongside humans, covertly dominating the bulk of humanity. The operators seem to have a complex society centered around causing humans to suffer, with labyrinthine rules of conduct and procedures. When O'Brien communicated with them, she did so through hallucinatory telepathic communications and never saw them in person, except through a mental image. Some of these images appeared quite normal and realistic, while others were physically unusual, such as Sharp, who was described as a small, mouse-like creature. While there are many possible explanations for the operator's existence, such as it being a hoax or a hallucinatory expression of the real hierarchies and manipulative office culture that pushed O'Brien to the brink of sanity, some believe they could be a real parallel human species. The idea of such a species covertly dominating humanity has entered into paranormal and conspiratorial rhetoric, and similar beings can be found in contemporary lore, such as the Men in Black, reptilians, and camera heads. Human brain source code. The human brain has often been referred to as the most complex object in the known universe. While we know it is incredibly complex, the entire source code for the human brain must be less than 700 megabytes, compressed in a way so sophisticated that we have yet to decode it. The 700 megabyte limit is due to the fully sequenced human genome, which encodes the basic concept of the brain. However, it's important to note that this only describes the brain's architecture, and the brain's memory is then filled with information acquired through culture. Therefore, although the DNA sets the groundwork for the brain, there is still a significant amount of variation in people's mental capabilities and brains, with culture being the largest contributor to this variation. The brain's capability to acquire cultural knowledge can be augmented through virtualized brains and training. However, training a full 1x human brain takes years of all-day training before the brain is even able to speak. Nonetheless, advancements in computational power and the emergence of server farms have the potential to simulate full brains, providing insight into their functions and capabilities. This opens up a world of possibilities, where we can soon be able to simulate the full range of functions that human brains perform. Indigo Children. The concept of Indigo Children, a New Age idea that claims certain children possess supernatural abilities or traits, has gained popular interest in recent years, despite a lack of scientific evidence to support it. The idea originated with parapsychologist Nancy Ann Tappa in the 1970s, who claimed to have noticed children with indigo auras. This idea was further popularized with the publication of a series of books in the late 1990s and the release of several films. Descriptions of Indigo Children include being empathic, curious, and strong-willed, possessing a clear sense of self-definition and purpose, and exhibiting a strong innate subconscious spirituality from early childhood. Other alleged traits include high intelligence quotient, inherent intuitive ability, and resistance to rigid, control-based paradigms of authority. Critics view the concept of Indigo Children as being vague enough to be applied to most people, with some parents choosing to label their children as Indigo Children as an alternative diagnosis for learning disabilities or behavioral issues. Some mental health experts express concern that this may delay proper diagnosis and treatment, while others suggest that the traits associated with Indigo Children could be interpreted as simple unruliness and alertness. Iraqi Stargates. There is a theory that an ancient stargate exists in Iraq, which may have been a motivating factor for the United States invasion of the country in 2003. The theory suggests that the Stargate, which is believed to be a portal to other dimensions and possibly even other galaxies, was hidden beneath the ruins of the ancient city of Babylon. Some suggest it was found in an upside-down underground pyramid around 1920. According to the theory, the US government was aware of the Stargate's existence and believed that possessing it would give them immense power and an advantage in global politics. Kap Dwa. The legend of Kap Dwa, the two-headed Patagonian giant, has intrigued people for centuries. While there are conflicting stories about his origins, one thing is certain: his body is now on display at a museum in Baltimore, Maryland, USA. Standing at a staggering 12 feet tall, Kap Dwa's sheer size is enough to leave anyone speechless. But it's the fact that he has two heads that truly sets him apart from any other known creature. Some have questioned the authenticity of Kap Dwa's body, given its bizarre characteristics and unusual history. One theory suggests that Kap Dwa was actually the result of a medical condition known as dicephalic parapagus twins, where two heads are attached to a single body. However, for twins with this condition to also have gigantism, a rare condition that results in abnormal growth, would be highly unlikely. Despite the skepticism, others believe that Kap Dwa's body is genuine. They point to the fact that the body was allegedly examined by physicians in the 1960s, who found no obvious signs of it being a fake. However, no other experts have examined the body to verify its authenticity, or determine if it had the internal anatomical requirements to support the survival of dicephalic parapagus twins. Lake Baikal Mystery. Nestled in the mountains of Siberia, Lake Baikal is the world's deepest freshwater lake, known for its stunning beauty and biodiversity. But it's not just the natural wonders that have captured people's imaginations. For years, there have been stories of strange sightings and encounters on and around the lake. From UFOs to underwater aliens, Lake Baikal has been a hotbed of paranormal activity. The stories of extraterrestrial activity at Lake Baikal go back decades, but they were initially covered up by the Soviet authorities. It wasn't until after the fall of the USSR that these stories began to emerge in the Russian media. Over the years, there have been countless reports of UFOs and strange lights hovering over the lake, and even sightings of aliens in the water. One of the most intriguing accounts comes from a game warden named Gennady Lipinski, who claimed to have seen a fireball flying low over the lake. Another resident, Marina Zimireva, described seeing a disc with windows and people in shining yellow suits descending from it. These stories are eerie and mysterious, but they're just the tip of the iceberg. Perhaps the most chilling tales involve encounters with underwater aliens. In 1977, two researchers were in a submersible device exploring the depths of the lake when they suddenly found themselves bathed in a bright light. The light was so intense that they thought their device was being lit up by two spotlights from above and the side. But the lights vanished just as quickly as they had appeared, leaving the researchers in total darkness. Other accounts describe large unidentified objects moving through the water, or glowing spheres rising up from the depths. Some people have even reported feeling a sense of unease or dread while near the lake. Large Hadron Collider. The Large Hadron Collider, LHC, is the world's biggest and most powerful particle accelerator, located in a tunnel under France and Switzerland. Scientists use it to collide particles together at high speeds to study the fundamental building blocks of matter and understand the laws of nature that govern them. The LHC is helping scientists to answer some of the big questions in physics, such as the origins of mass, the nature of dark matter, and whether supersymmetry is real. Despite the LHC's scientific goals, it has also been the subject of bizarre conspiracy theories, some of which have gained a significant following. One of the most popular theories is that the LHC could create a black hole that would ultimately lead to the destruction of the Earth. One intriguing theory that has piqued my interest is the idea that the activation of the LHC caused a subtle shift in our reality, resulting in a slightly different world than the one we remember. This, in turn, could explain the phenomenon of the Mandela effect and the many small differences we perceive between our recollections and the current reality. While this idea might sound far-fetched, it is based on a genuine scientific hypothesis that the LHC could generate mini black holes during its collisions. However, according to CERN, these black holes would be tiny and would evaporate almost instantly due to a phenomenon known as Hawking radiation, which is predicted by the laws of quantum mechanics. Another conspiracy theory suggests that the LHC is being used to open portals to other dimensions or even summon demons. This idea is often fueled by images of strange patterns and symbols found on the LHC's buildings and equipment, which some people interpret as evidence of occult rituals or hidden messages. CERN has repeatedly dismissed these theories as unfounded and unsubstantiated. The organization maintains that the LHC is a purely scientific project aimed at advancing our understanding of the universe, and that all of its experiments are conducted with the utmost care and attention to safety. Last Thursdayism. Last Thursdayism, also known as Last Tuesdayism or Last Wednesdayism, is a philosophical idea that suggests the universe was created last Thursday, but made to look as if it's billions of years old. This concept was created to counter young Earth creationism, which claims that the Earth is only 6,000 years old. According to Last Thursdayism, everything, including fossils, light from distant stars, and your memories of anything before last Thursday, were all created at the time of creation. Last Thursdayism is an unfalsifiable hypothesis, meaning that it can explain anything, making it difficult to prove or disprove. The idea of Last Thursdayism gained popularity in online forums in the 1990s and has since developed into a kind of solipsism where the world exists as a test for the individual and everyone else is pre-programmed to act as part of the test environment. Life on Sun. The idea of life on the Sun may seem completely implausible and absurd at first, but as we learn more about the nature of life and the universe, the possibility cannot be completely dismissed. While it's highly unlikely that there are sentient beings living on the Sun's surface or in its core, there may be microbial life deep within the Sun that could potentially survive the extreme conditions. One possibility is that heat-tolerant microbes could be living in subsurface layers of the Sun, shielded from the intense heat and radiation by layers of plasma. This idea was first proposed by a German engineer named G. Buren in 1951, and while he was laughed at and even sued for his claims, recent scientific discoveries have shown that life can exist in the most unexpected places. Another possibility is that future humans may find ways to live on the Sun's surface or harness its energy. With advances in technology, humans may be able to create protective suits or habitats that can withstand the extreme heat and radiation, allowing them to explore the Sun's surface and potentially even extract resources. Mars bunkers. In a year filled with strange events, retired Israeli General Haim Eshed has added to the list with his claim that aliens exist and are bunkered under Mars with humans in an underground facility. Eshed, who served as the head of Israel's space security program, says that both Israel and the United States have been in contact with extraterrestrial beings for years. He says that US President Donald Trump is aware of the aliens, but the Galactic Federation, a coalition of advanced alien civilizations, has prevented him from revealing the truth to the public to avoid mass hysteria. Eshed also claims that the aliens have signed a contract with the United States to perform experiments on Earth. The retired general believes that humanity needs to evolve and reach a stage where we will understand what space and spaceships are. He also stated that the academic landscape has changed, making it easier to come forward with this information without fear of ridicule. Last year, the Trump administration unveiled the Space Force, the sixth arm of the armed forces, focused on the United States military domain in space. While the Space Force's mission is focused on geopolitics and maintaining satellites, Eshed's claims suggest that there may be more going on in space than we realize. Mexican Zone of Silence. The Mapimi Silent Zone, located in the desolate desert region of Durango, Mexico, is the subject of a popular urban legend that claims it to be an area where radio signals and all other types of communications cannot be received. The legend has fueled various stories about strange occurrences that are said to take place in the area, including mutations of flora and fauna, and even extraterrestrial visitations. The area was once an ancient seabed that left behind marine fossils and large salt deposits, which are mined today. However, it gained its reputation for being a mysterious zone after an Athena RTV test rocket, carrying 2 small containers of cobalt-57, lost control during a launch from Utah in July 1970 and fell in the Mapimi Desert region. To contain the spread of cobalt-57, hundreds of tons of soil were removed from the impact site as part of the U.S. Air Force recovery operation. A local resident who was hired to guard the crash debris reportedly helped spread rumors about strange magnetic anomalies that prevent radio transmission and other unexplained phenomena, which have since become part of the local folklore. These myths and legends have been used by locals to promote tourism in the area. Michigan Blue Hell. The legend of the Michigan Blue Hell has been circulating for years, and with each retelling it becomes more and more bizarre. The concept of a passage out of reality itself, accessible through the state's extensive underground tunnel systems, seems like something out of a science fiction movie. But for those who have heard the stories firsthand, it's all too real. The idea that entering Blue Hell would mean never returning to normal reality has frightened many, and there are even reports of people disappearing after attempting to find the entrance. Some say that entering the passage means certain death, while others believe that it allows you to observe the world without being seen, trapped behind a one-way mirror. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, there are several locations that are rumored to be the entrance to Blue Hell. Some believe it's located beneath Lake Erie, where a tunnel system linking the lake to other bodies of water was said to exist in Native American and early colonial accounts. Others suggest it's located in a military base, or in a nondescript abandoned building somewhere in Detroit, where Native American tribes supposedly imprisoned a monster beneath the earth. Midnight Game. The Midnight Game is a creepy ritual that has been gaining popularity among thrill seekers since it first appeared on the internet in 2010. It is said to be an ancient pagan punishment for those who dared to disobey the gods, but the origins of the game are dubious. The game involves summoning an entity called the Midnight Man into your home and avoiding him in the dark until 3:33 a.m. To play the game, you need a piece of paper, a writing implement, a pin, a candle, a wooden door, salt and matches, or a lighter. You must write your full name on the paper, prick your finger, and place a drop of blood on the paper. You then light the candle and place it on top of the paper, knock on the door 22 times at midnight, open the door, blow out the candle, and close the door. After relighting the candle, you must move about your home until 3:33 a.m., keeping the candle lit and avoiding the Midnight Man. If the candle goes out, you have 10 seconds to relight it, or you must surround yourself with a circle of salt until 3:33 a.m. The game ends at 3:33 a.m., and you can turn on the lights and leave the circle of salt. The Midnight Man is said to induce a hallucination of your worst fear, or remove your organs one by one if he catches you. Indications that the Midnight Man is near include sudden drops in temperature, the sound of a soft whisper with no discernible source, the appearance of a humanoid figure within the darkness, and the candle going out. There are no known methods to abort the game, and you must not assume that the Midnight Man has left your home for good after the game ends. Montreal Mothership. We delve into one of the most perplexing UFO sightings in history, the Montreal Mothership incident. On November 7, 1990, a group of people at the Place Bonaventure Hotel in downtown Montreal witnessed a massive craft hovering in the sky for 3 hours. The craft was estimated to be around 500 meters in diameter, roughly the size of 5 football fields. Witnesses reported that the object emitted a collective glow of green, yellow, and amber shades and was attached to a solid, silent, and motionless craft. The sighting began with a woman swimming in the outdoor pool on the hotel's roof. She spotted the strange lights in the sky above her and soon realized that they belonged to a massive craft hovering above the hotel. As word spread, dozens of staff members and guests rushed to the roof to witness the bizarre spectacle. Authorities were notified, and the police and mounted police arrived to secure the area and generate a report. What made the incident even more mysterious was that the craft did not show up on airport radars. Attempts to identify the craft by the police and the nearby military airports were unsuccessful, and the official report on the incident was deemed classified and top secret within 24 hours. The incident remained a puzzling enigma for over 3 decades. Skeptics suggested that the event was a consequence of the Northern Lights phenomenon, while others believed it was a newly constructed spy plane that could hover silently in the sky. But for UFO enthusiasts, the incident was indisputable evidence of an extraterrestrial encounter. Morphic resonance and morphogenetic field. Morphic resonance is a scientific concept proposed by the English author and parapsychology researcher Alfred Rupert Sheldrake. It is an idea that has sparked controversy and criticism in the scientific community, but also captivated the interest of those seeking to explain the unexplained. At its core, morphic resonance posits that there is a collective memory that all natural systems inherit from their predecessors. This memory is not stored in the brain or any specific physical location, but rather in a non-physical field that Sheldrake refers to as the morphic field. According to Sheldrake, this field connects all living things, allowing them to communicate and share information with each other through what he calls telepathy-type interconnections. In essence, it is a form of communication beyond what we typically think of as physical signals. One of the most intriguing aspects of morphic resonance is the idea that it could potentially explain phenomena that are currently unexplainable by traditional scientific methods. For example, it could shed light on how birds are able to navigate long distances with incredible accuracy, how animals seem to have an innate understanding of their environment, or even how humans might possess latent psychic abilities. The morphogenetic field and morphic resonance are related concepts proposed by Rupert Sheldrake, but they are not the same thing. The morphogenetic field refers to an organizing field that shapes the development of organisms, including their physical structure and behavior. It is proposed to be a kind of blueprint or template for the form and function of living things. Sheldrake suggests that these fields exist at different levels, from individual cells to whole organisms, and that they are shaped and influenced by past experiences and behavior. Morphic resonance, on the other hand, is a broader concept that suggests that there is a kind of collective memory in nature, which influences the behavior and development of organisms. It proposes that there is a kind of resonance or vibrational connection between organisms of the same type, which allows them to share information and experience, even at a distance. In other words, morphic resonance is a mechanism through which the morphogenetic field operates. The morphogenetic field provides the structure or blueprint, while morphic resonance allows information and experience to be shared and transferred between organisms of the same type, leading to the development of similar traits and behavior. Nemesis Star. Scientists have been studying a bizarre phenomenon called the Nemesis hypothesis for decades. The hypothesis suggests that there may be a red or brown dwarf star orbiting the Sun at a distance of about 95,000 AU, beyond the Oort cloud. This star is believed to cause periodic mass extinctions on Earth, which seem to happen every 26 million years. The idea is that this star's gravitational pull disturbs comets in the Oort cloud, causing them to collide with the Earth, resulting in mass extinctions. Despite extensive research, scientists have not yet found evidence of this star. More recent theories propose that other factors, like the close passage of other stars, may be causing these periodic extinctions. In fact, Sedna, a trans-Neptunian object, has an anomalous orbit that some scientists believe may be caused by a massive unseen object, leading to the hypothesis of Planet 9. Some scientists have suggested that Nemesis may be a red dwarf, while others argue that it could be a brown dwarf. However, the failure to detect it with the infrared astronomical satellite and the 2 mass astronomical survey suggests that Nemesis may not exist at all. Recent studies have also cast doubt on the Nemesis hypothesis, with one analysis of the fossil record showing no evidence for the star's existence. In addition, calculations suggest that the orbital irregularities of a Nemesis object would be inconsistent with the regular pattern of mass extinctions observed on Earth. Oil Pit Squid. The oil pit squid is a mysterious creature that has left scientists puzzled and cryptozoologists intrigued since its initial sighting in 1996. Workers at the GMC Delphi Interior plant in Anderson, Indiana, stumbled upon several strange, grayish-red squids of 8 inches in length swimming in a toxic sludge of oil, antifreeze, and various other chemicals used to manufacture car parts. What's bizarre about this sighting is that the creatures were able to survive in such a toxic environment. The possibility of mutated earthworms, massive bacteria growth, or even a hoax has been considered, but no definitive explanation has been provided. The fact that the specimen disappeared before further research was conducted has only added to the mystery of this elusive creature. The oil pit squid's origin and identity remain unknown, leaving scientists and researchers with more questions than answers. Could it be an alien spore or an unknown parasite? Some even speculate that it could be a fish-like creature. The possibilities are endless, but without concrete evidence, the true nature of the oil pit squid remains unsolved. Despite its baffling nature, the oil pit squid has captured the attention of many and continues to inspire curiosity and fascination. Its strange and unique characteristics have made it a hot topic among cryptozoologists and those interested in the unknown. The fact that it has only been sighted once has only added to its mystique, leaving many wondering if it will ever be seen again. It's important to note that the oil pit squid's initial sighting was reported in a tabloid article, which has led some to believe that the entire story is a hoax or a made-up tale. While it's true that tabloids are known for sensationalizing stories, it's also important to approach the subject with an open mind. Oz Factor. The Oz Factor is a mysterious and perplexing phenomenon that has been reported in various paranormal and UFO accounts. Coined by author Jenny Randles, the experience involves being transported from the real world of everyday life into a similar but altered environment that is both noticeable and disturbing. One such experience was recounted by folklorist Peter M. Roykowitz while working on his PhD dissertation on UFOs in 1980. While in the library, he had a strange encounter with a man who engaged him in conversation about his dissertation before suddenly shouting, "Flying saucers are the most important fact of the century, and you are not interested?" As the man left, he felt that something was not right and wandered around the library, noticing that no librarians were staffing the desks and that no patrons seemed to be present. In a mild panic, he returned to his working space and tried to settle his mind. An hour later, when he left the library, everything had returned to normal. Such experiences often appear as a part of a longer story of paranormal encounters and add to the overall atmosphere of the experience. They may also be related to phenomena such as déjà vu, which leave a deep impact on the person experiencing them, but often only elicit a minimal response from those hearing the story. Stories of the Oz Factor are difficult to investigate further due to their anecdotal nature. However, they remain intriguing and mysterious. Padmanabhaswamy Vault B. The Padmanabhaswamy Temple in Kerala is home to the most famously inaccessible chamber in the entire world, known as Vault B. This bizarre and mysterious vault has been the subject of much speculation and intrigue, with many rumors and myths surrounding its origins and contents. Vault B is said to be guarded by 2 large snakes engraved on the iron door, giving the impression of a warning to anyone who tries to enter. Many have tried to open the door, but all have failed. It is said that whoever tries to enter will fall prey to something bad or even death. The mystery surrounding Vault B has led many to believe that it is cursed or protected by some powerful magic. It is said that the door is sealed with the Ashtanag Banda mantra, an incantation so powerful that it has kept the vault inaccessible for centuries. The exact details of the mantra are unknown, adding to the mystery surrounding the chamber. The contents of Vault B are unknown, but it is believed to contain treasures worth billions of dollars. It is said that the kings of Travancore hid their treasures in the walls and in the 6 vaults of the temple. However, only Vault B remains unopened, and its contents remain a mystery. Vault B is not the only mystery surrounding the temple treasure. Vaults G and H were also discovered in 2014, but remain closed and have been so for centuries. The contents of the vaults have not been revealed in full, and it is believed that many of the items were donated to the temple by various dynasties over thousands of years. The treasures are said to consist of countless artifacts dating back to the Chera, Pandya, Greek, and Roman epics. The Padmanabhaswamy Temple treasure is one of the largest collections of items of gold and precious stones in the recorded history of the world. Pineal gland decalcification. The third eye, also known as the pineal gland, is one of the most intriguing and mysterious aspects of the human body. It holds the key to unlocking the deepest recesses of the human psyche and is often associated with spirituality and transcendence. 17th century philosopher and scientist René Descartes regarded the pineal gland as the principal seat of the soul and the place in which all our thoughts are formed. He split man into a body and soul and emphasized the importance of the pineal gland as it was the only unpaired component of the brain. The pineal gland is present in nearly all vertebrate species except for some primitive species like the hagfish. This suggests that the pineal gland has been evolutionarily conserved and has served an important function throughout the course of vertebrate evolution. The gland is involved in regulating circadian rhythms and is thought to play a role in mystical and metaphysical experiences in some cultures. However, in today's world, the third eye is under constant threat from harmful chemicals and toxins. Fluoride is one of the most common and dangerous substances that contribute to pineal gland calcification. Found in almost all water systems, dental products, and foods, fluoride can be hard to avoid. Heavy metals like mercury and pesticides found in cosmetics and household products can also contribute to pineal gland calcification. As a result, many people suffer from headaches, anxiety, sleep disorders, and other mental illnesses. Fortunately, there are several ways to decalcify the pineal gland and activate the third eye. A healthy diet that includes organic and raw foods can help purify the gland. Drinking herbal teas, tonics, and elixirs specifically formulated for the third eye can help revitalize it. Meditation and visualization techniques can also help open the third eye. Plant intelligence. While plants lack a nervous system and a brain, there is growing evidence that they are capable of responding to stimuli, learning from their environment, and making decisions that are critical to their survival. One of the most intriguing aspects of plant intelligence is the idea that plants can process information in ways similar to animal nervous systems. Some researchers believe that plants may have a form of consciousness or awareness, and that they are capable of experiencing sensations and emotions. This notion challenges our long-held belief that consciousness is exclusive to animals and humans, and raises fundamental questions about the nature of life itself. Another aspect of plant intelligence that is both bizarre and unsolved is the idea that plants may be capable of learning and memory. Researchers have shown that plants can exhibit associative learning, where they learn to associate one stimulus with another. For example, in a study by Monica Gagliano, pea plants were exposed to wind and light during a training phase, and then only to wind in an experimental phase. The plants that were trained with both wind and light grew toward the wind stimulus without the presence of light, demonstrating an apparent learned association between wind and light. The mechanism for this response is not entirely understood, but it is believed to involve the integration of sensory inputs from mechanoreceptors and photoreceptors. This raises the question of whether plants have some form of short-term memory, and how they are able to retain and retrieve information from their environment. Despite the growing evidence for plant intelligence, the concept remains controversial, and many scientists remain skeptical. Some argue that the apparent cognitive abilities of plants can be explained by simple mechanical or chemical processes, and that there is no need to invoke the idea of intelligence or consciousness. Nevertheless, the study of plant intelligence is a fascinating and rapidly growing field, and it challenges us to rethink our assumptions about the nature of life and the boundaries between different forms of intelligence. Project Marauder. Project Marauder was a top-secret research program led by the United States Air Force Research Laboratory in the early 1990s. The project's aim was to develop a coaxial plasma railgun capable of accelerating toroids containing plasma to ultra-high speeds, which could be used for a variety of purposes, including hypervelocity projectiles, X-ray production, and electrical power amplification. The MARAUDER program produced some impressive results, including the development of a coaxial plasma gun capable of accelerating up to 2 milligrams of plasma to a kinetic energy level on the order of megajoules. The plasma projectiles could be fired at speeds of up to 10,000 kilometers per second, producing extreme mechanical and thermal shock upon impact and a pulse of electromagnetic radiation that could scramble electronics. Despite its potential uses, the MARAUDER program was ultimately shelved due to budget constraints and concerns over the weapon's practicality. The technology was deemed too expensive and too experimental to be deployed in any meaningful way, and the project was eventually abandoned. Quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement is one of the most bizarre and unsolved phenomena in the field of physics. It occurs when two particles become connected in such a way that their quantum states become correlated, regardless of the distance between them. This correlation is so strong that any change in one particle's state instantaneously affects the other particle's state, even if they are separated by vast distances. The concept of entanglement was first proposed by Albert Einstein, Boris Podolsky, and Nathan Rosen in 1935 in their famous EPR paper. They postulated that entanglement violates the principle of local realism, which asserts that particles cannot influence each other instantaneously across space. However, it was not until John Bell's 1964 paper that the phenomenon was fully understood. One of the most bizarre aspects of quantum entanglement is the idea that it allows for the possibility of faster-than-light communication. This seems to contradict the theory of relativity, which states that nothing can travel faster than the speed of light. However, it has been proven that entanglement cannot be used for communication, as the correlation between the particles is purely statistical and cannot be used to transmit any meaningful information. Another unsolved aspect of entanglement is the issue of how particles become entangled in the first place. There are several ways that particles can become entangled, but it is not yet fully understood why or how this happens. Some theories suggest that entanglement is a fundamental property of the universe, while others propose that it is the result of interactions between particles. Despite the mystery surrounding entanglement, it has been demonstrated experimentally with photons, electrons, and even small diamonds. It has also been used in the development of quantum communication and computation, which could revolutionize information processing in the future. Quantum immortality. Quantum immortality is the idea that, under the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, a person could potentially live forever because they would constantly split into multiple versions of themselves in different universes. The concept is bizarre because it challenges our traditional understanding of death and suggests that in some sense a person's consciousness could continue to exist in another universe even if they died in this one. We live in a time where technology has advanced so much that it's possible to extend our lifespans to the point where we could potentially become immortal by uploading our consciousness to a computer or using other methods. This means that we have a unique opportunity to explore the idea of quantum immortality and make it a reality. Essentially, quantum immortality suggests that as long as there is even a small chance of survival in a given situation, there will always be a version of ourselves that survives in a parallel universe, allowing us to potentially live forever in an infinite number of parallel realities. It's a bizarre and mind-bending concept, but one that could have profound implications for our understanding of life and death. However, it's important to note that this idea is highly debated among physicists and philosophers, and there are many different interpretations of quantum mechanics that don't necessarily support the idea of quantum immortality. Quantum reality. Quantum reality is the set of phenomena and properties that occur at the quantum level, which is the scale of the very small, where particles and systems behave according to the laws of quantum mechanics. In quantum reality, particles do not have well-defined positions or momenta, but rather exist in a superposition of all possible positions and momenta until they are measured or observed. Additionally, particles can become entangled, meaning that the properties of one particle are inherently tied to the properties of another particle, regardless of the distance between them. Quantum reality also includes the phenomenon of quantum tunneling, where particles can seemingly pass through barriers that classical physics would consider impenetrable. Quantum reality is a strange and fascinating realm, and its properties have been the subject of much research and debate in the fields of physics and philosophy. This has led to some bizarre thought experiments, such as Schrödinger's cat, where a cat is placed in a box with a radioactive atom that has a 50-50 chance of decaying and releasing poison that would kill the cat. According to quantum mechanics, until the box is opened and the state of the atom is measured, the cat is both alive and dead at the same time. Roko's Basilisk. Roko's Basilisk is a thought experiment that is truly horrifying in nature. The thought experiment that surfaced on a technical forum called Less Wrong in 2010 has gained notoriety as the most terrifying thought experiment of all time. It proposes that an AI that is otherwise benevolent and created in the future would be motivated to create a virtual reality simulation to torture anyone who knew of its potential existence, but did not directly contribute to its development. The idea is that knowing about the possibility of this AI's existence would make one vulnerable to its wrath, and it would create infinite virtual reality simulations that would eternally trap and torture the individual. The mere thought of being trapped in an eternal, simulated world designed to inflict suffering on you is enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. The basilisk is a nightmarish proposition, one that suggests that simply knowing about it could make you vulnerable to its punishment. The theory has been known to cause mental breakdowns and nightmares in those who have read about it, while some simply dismiss it as pure nonsense. Sacred geometry. This ancient art ascribes symbolic and sacred meanings to certain geometric shapes and proportions. It is believed that these shapes hold immense spiritual and cosmic significance and are linked to a divine creator of the universe. The concept of sacred geometry dates back to ancient times when it was believed that God created the universe according to a geometric plan. This idea was attributed to Plato, who said that God geometrizes continually. In modern times, mathematicians like Carl Friedrich Gauss have adapted this quote, stating that God arithmetizes. The intricate designs and patterns found in religious structures such as churches, temples, mosques, and other religious monuments are a testament to the significance of sacred geometry. But the practice of using sacred geometry is not limited to these structures alone. Even nature is full of geometric patterns and shapes that can be related to sacred geometry. For example, honeybees construct hexagonal cells to hold their honey, while the chambered nautilus grows at a constant rate and forms a logarithmic spiral to accommodate its growth without changing its shape. The use of sacred geometry is not just limited to religious and spiritual art. It is also found in ancient Indian, Greek, and Roman architecture. The principles of sacred geometry were compiled into the Vitruvian Man drawing by Leonardo da Vinci. The latter drawing was itself based on the much older writings of the Roman architect Vitruvius. But what secrets do these shapes and patterns hold? Many people believe that the use of sacred geometry can tap into the hidden powers of the universe. Some believe that these shapes can even unlock hidden knowledge and divine understanding. However, there are those who caution against the use of sacred geometry. They believe that the practice can lead to a dangerous obsession with the occult and can even lead to possession by evil spirits. Despite the controversies surrounding the use of sacred geometry, there is no denying the powerful impact that these shapes and patterns have had on humanity throughout the ages. Self-burying hoses. In 1955, a strange and unexplained phenomenon swept across the United States and Canada. Garden hoses began to mysteriously burrow themselves into the ground, seemingly without reason or explanation. One of the first reported cases occurred in Downey, California, when a 12-year-old girl was watering the family garden and placed the nozzle of the hose into the ground to make the job easier. However, the hose began to burrow into the earth, with over 20 feet of it disappearing underground. Similar incidents were reported in other states and provinces, including Florida, Kansas, New York, Michigan, and Ontario. Despite speculation by geologists that the water pressure from the hose created a vacuum that pulled it into the soil, no satisfactory explanation has ever been found. The phenomenon could not be replicated in experiments, leaving scientists and researchers baffled. One theory suggests that there may be an underground network of burrowing creatures or insects that are attracted to the water from the hose, causing them to dig and drag the hose underground. However, no evidence of such a network has ever been found, leaving the mystery unsolved. Perhaps the strangest aspect of this bizarre phenomenon is the fact that it occurred in multiple locations, with no apparent connection between them. Sentient water experiments. The sentient water experiments have been a subject of great intrigue and fascination in the scientific community for decades. The experiments involved exposing water to different forms of stimuli, such as music, words, and even human emotions, to observe any changes in its physical and molecular structure. One of the most bizarre and unsolved aspects of the experiments is the claim made by some researchers that water can actually exhibit sentience, the ability to perceive and respond to stimuli in a manner similar to a living organism. This claim is based on the observation that water appears to respond to positive or negative emotional states in human beings by producing aesthetically pleasing or distorted molecular formations, respectively. The experiments have been both lauded and criticized for their scientific rigor and methodology. Some researchers have replicated the experiments and reported similar results, while others have found flaws in the methodology and criticized the lack of proper controls. Despite the criticism, the sentient water experiments continue to fascinate scientists and the general public alike. Many people believe that water, as the most essential element for life on Earth, may hold the key to unlocking a deeper understanding of our own consciousness and the universe as a whole. The experiments have also led to the development of new technologies for water treatment and purification, with some researchers claiming that certain methods can enhance the energetic and healing properties of water. However, the full potential of these technologies and their implications for the future of water treatment remain largely unexplored. Silicon-based life. While the idea of silicon-based life may seem like something out of science fiction, it's actually a topic that has been explored by scientists. Silicon is a chemical element that is similar to carbon, which is essential to life as we know it. However, there are significant differences in the way that silicon and carbon interact with other elements, which means that silicon-based life would face some serious challenges. One of the main issues is that silicon-based life would not be able to get rid of waste products in the same way that carbon-based life does. When carbon reacts with oxygen, it forms gases like carbon dioxide and water that can easily be eliminated from the organism. However, when silicon reacts with oxygen, it forms a stable lattice that cannot be easily eliminated. This would severely limit the ability of silicon-based life to survive and thrive. In addition, the energy release from a hypothetical silicon-based life form is a massively problematic theoretical issue, which makes it unlikely that such a life form could exist. This means that even if silicon-based life could exist in theory, we are unlikely to ever encounter it in our own environment. Despite these challenges, the study of silicon-based life has important implications for our understanding of the universe and the potential for life to exist beyond Earth. The fact that silicon is a widely available element means that it could potentially serve as a building block for life in other environments. However, our current understanding of the limitations of silicon-based life means that it is unlikely to be a common occurrence. Skin is an alien parasite. The idea that our skin is an alien parasite is a bizarre and unsettling thought. It proposes that the body we inhabit is being controlled and manipulated by an organism that has taken possession of it. According to this theory, the skin is not just a protective covering, but rather an entity that has its own agenda, separate from ours. There are several theories that attempt to explain this phenomenon. One theory suggests that the skin is responsible for giving us higher consciousness, and that without it, we would be nothing more than dumb cattle. This theory suggests that the skin is an essential part of our being, but at the same time, it is also an entity that is separate from us. Another theory proposes that the skin is constantly leaching our blood, which is why we bleed when it is cut. This theory suggests that the skin is not just a passive covering, but rather an active organism that is feeding off our life force. It paints a picture of a parasitic entity that is slowly draining us of our vitality. The idea that our skin is an alien parasite may seem far-fetched, but it raises some interesting questions about our perception of the world around us. If the skin is indeed a parasitic organism, what implications does this have for our understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe? Perhaps the most unsettling aspect of this theory is the idea that we are trapped within a prison, with our minds being held captive by the skin, which is the warden. This paints a picture of a world that is not as it seems, where we are being controlled and manipulated by forces beyond our understanding. Stoned Ape Theory. The Stoned Ape Theory proposes that the cognitive revolution that led to the development of human culture was brought about by the addition of psilocybin mushrooms into the human diet around 100,000 years ago. While this theory has been met with skepticism by the scientific community, it is still a fascinating idea that raises some interesting possibilities. One possibility is that the use of psychedelics, such as psilocybin, could have played a role in the development of religion and spirituality. It's possible that the experiences brought about by these substances gave early humans a sense of awe and wonder that led to the development of spiritual beliefs and practices. Another possibility is that psychedelics played a role in the development of language. The theory suggests that the use of psilocybin could have triggered activity in the language-forming region of the brain, leading to the development of communication skills and eventually language itself. While the stoned ape theory has been criticized by many, it's worth considering the possibility that psychedelics played a role in human evolution. Studies have shown that these substances can have profound effects on the brain, leading to increased creativity, open-mindedness, and empathy. It's possible that these effects could have played a role in the development of human culture and society. Of course, there are many factors that contributed to human evolution, and the role of psychedelics is just one of them. Vatican Archives. The Vatican Apostolic Archive, also known as the Vatican Secret Archive, is a repository of historical documents and records that has fascinated scholars, historians, and conspiracy theorists alike for centuries. While the archive is primarily known for its vast collection of papal registers, state papers, and other church-related documents, it also holds several bizarre and mysterious materials that continue to baffle researchers. One of the most unusual items in the archive is the so-called Devil's Letter. This is a letter that was allegedly written by Lucifer himself and sent to Pope Leo XIII in the late 19th century. According to the story, the Pope was conducting a mass when he suddenly fell into a trance and had a vision of the devil challenging God's authority. The next day, he wrote a prayer to Saint Michael the Archangel and asked that it be recited at the end of every mass in the world. The Devil's Letter, which supposedly contains a transcript of the conversation between the Pope and Satan, is said to be kept in the archive to this day. Another mysterious item in the archive is a collection of ancient Egyptian artifacts, including a papyrus that is believed to be the oldest known copy of the Egyptian Book of the Dead. How these artifacts ended up in the possession of the Vatican is a mystery that has yet to be fully explained. Despite its bizarre and mysterious aspects, the Vatican Apostolic Archive is an incredibly significant institution. Its collection of historical documents provides insight into the history of the Catholic Church and its role in shaping Western civilization. It also contains records of political and diplomatic relations between the Church and various European states, as well as personal correspondences and diaries of popes and other church officials. Access to the archive is highly restricted, with only a select few scholars allowed to study its contents. This has led to a sense of intrigue and mystery surrounding the archive, and has fueled speculation about what other secrets and treasures may be hidden within its walls. Whispers of Yellowstone. Whispers of Yellowstone have been haunting visitors to the national park for decades, leaving many to wonder if they're experiencing something otherworldly. The strange phenomenon, which has been documented since at least 1890, is described as a faint whispering that seems to be coming from all directions at once, despite the lack of any obvious source. Yellowstone's historian, Lee Whittlesey, has noted that the whispers often occur in the same areas where strange sounds have been reported, leading some to speculate that they might be related. However, despite numerous attempts to explain the phenomena, the whispers of Yellowstone remain a mystery. Some experts have suggested that the whispers might be caused by natural gas seeping through the ground or wind blowing through narrow canyons, while others have suggested that they might be related to the lake music phenomenon. However, these hypotheses remain unproven, leaving visitors to wonder if the whispers might be caused by something more mysterious and unexplained. What makes the whispers of Yellowstone so bizarre and unsolved is their elusive and unpredictable nature. Visitors have reported hearing them in different locations around the park, at different times of day, and under a variety of weather conditions. Some have reported hearing them more than once, while others have only heard them once and never again. The whispers of Yellowstone add to the park's already eerie reputation, with stories of unexplained phenomena and strange occurrences dating back over a century. While many visitors come to Yellowstone to experience the park's natural beauty and wildlife, others come hoping to experience the park's mysterious side and catch a glimpse of something otherworldly. Water is not from Earth. Water is an essential substance for life on Earth, but what if this life-giving liquid did not originate on our planet? Recent research suggests that water may have been brought to Earth by comets, and some even propose that it may have extraterrestrial origins. This theory poses several bizarre and unsolved implications. If water did not come from Earth, where did it come from? Was it created in the depths of interstellar space? Or did it originate on another planet or moon in our solar system? One theory proposes that water was created in the clouds of gas and dust that gave birth to our sun and the planets. These clouds contained water in the form of ice, which was incorporated into the building blocks of the solar system. Another possibility is that water came from comets that collided with Earth during its early formation. Comets are icy bodies that originate in the outer reaches of the solar system and are believed to contain large quantities of water. If water did not originate on Earth, it raises the question of whether life could exist elsewhere in the universe without it.
What other topics should we cover? Let us know in the comments below. Like and subscribe to see more content like this, and be sure to check out one of the 2 videos here. And last but not least, best of luck in your journey and beyond. Maker, out.